It was working before I started the stream. All right, whatever. Hopefully now you all can hear me. Hopefully you all can hear me. Hi, everyone. Hope you all are well. Sorry about the audio mix-up. Hopefully that should be fixed. All right. If it's not working now, I don't know what to say, because now it's definitely yes. Okay, I have sound. Excellent, good. Alrighty. So as I was saying, hi everyone, happy Friday. It's been a while. We're doing a little bit of an early stream today, and I know the chat's on a delay, so I'm hoping that in the next 20 seconds, people will be like, there's sound. Okay, good. Thank you. Yes, I got it. Yeah, I read the chat. I don't know. What do you want from me? But no, today's a Friday stream. We're doing a little bit early because I have early plans because my life is a mess. I had an eyelid infection and I still have like a little bit of like something out here. Like, I don't know if you've ever had an eyelid infection before, but you can like feel that there's something like in your fucking eyelid. It's really weird. So that's like still there, but I had an eyelid infection, so I couldn't film videos for like a week and a half while the infection was clearing up because I'm sorry, I care deeply about you all. I'm not filming videos, either one, when I can't wear makeup, and two, because I'm not wearing makeup, one of my eyes is like red and angry and inflamed. I don't want that permanently forever on my channel, so I didn't do that. But we're back, hopefully. Normal routine should be resuming. No more eyelid infections or trips or weekend conferences or such like for at least a while. Yes, and the Bandita camera is going. She is apparently a girl on a mission today. It was her 13th birthday last week. I did not stream, but it was her 13th birthday. And we went out. There's a new vegan restaurant in Portland. It's called Faceplant. And it's, which is very funny because it's a plant-based vegan, like fast food restaurant. So if you are in Portland or you're going to be traveling through there and you don't want fancy food, you don't want something nice, you just want a fast food quick burger that is affordable. You don't want to pay $11 or $17 for only a burger. It was like $3 or $4, I think, for their just plain regular burger, not a combo. And with fries and a drink, it was like 11 something, I think. Very reasonable prices, very good. And we got some french fries for Miss Paparina, and she about floated into space. I thought she was ready to float up to heaven in that moment. She was so in love with the fries. So she had a good belated birthday. Luckily, she has a dog. She doesn't know when her birthday is actually supposed to be. Has no idea. I could be a VTuber, it's true. I don't even, like... Is VTubing still a thing? Like, do people still do VTubing? Is that a big deal? Why don't I take the costume off for my cat? Good point. Good point. An eye patch. Oh, I missed the eye patch opportunity. You're so right. I could have rocked an eye patch. One eye, reading a teleprompter, wearing an eye patch. Yeah, that would have been great. Maybe if it was Halloween time and I could have like spun it into like a pirate roleplay video thing or something like that. But yeah, so today we are doing a little get ready with me stream. This is not going to be like my normal like full YouTube makeup because I do different makeup for YouTube versus real life because cameras and lights and all of that business. But we're going to be doing some makeup, which I know a lot of people want to chat about. But we're also going to be doing a regular Q&A. So feel free to ask questions. And I'll just go ahead and get into the regular spiel because it has been a minute. So if you're new here, hi, hello. We do these streams pretty much every Friday, usually at 6 o'clock Pacific time. But today we're doing it at 4:30. So today at 4:30, we are doing a BDSM Q&A. This is an 18 plus only stream. So if you are not at least 18, please do not be here. This is for your safety, my safety, everyone's safety, because mixing education about adult topics and dating and romance and all of that is, it's dicey. I don't want to go there. I don't want to be responsible for that. So we don't. But you can feel free to come back when you are 18 and we will welcome you. We usually have people like once or twice a year, we have somebody come in that's like, I'm finally 18 and I'm so glad I can finally watch the stream. And I'm always really grateful when people are respectful like that. So that is important to know. Also, you can read the rules and the FAQ down below. We have answers and links to answers to commonly asked questions. So if you want to know things like what books I recommend or about where to buy a flogger or anything like that, is probably linked somewhere in the FAQ. But this is a Q&A, so you guys ask whatever you want within reason. Obviously, I can refuse to comment or answer something if I don't feel like it, but in general, it's whatever y'all want it to be. And with that being said, we will go ahead and get into it. Ooh, I'm going to a rope tying event tomorrow night, a more relaxed, non-structured kind of thing. I'm going solo. Is there anything you can tell me going into it? Okay, so that sounds like, if I had to guess, that sounds like it's a rope jam, like a rope jam, or like maybe more of a practice like tying session as opposed to a play party where people are going to be doing full on rope scenes. Every space is going to be a little bit different. Because you're going solo, I'm assuming you probably want more advice on the going solo part as opposed to like the event itself. But usually with rope things, I would probably compare it to like, it's more like a dance class or like an open gym time than it is like a BDSM play party. I would definitely recommend bringing comfortable clothing, probably not being super dressed up unless for some reason there's a dress code, wearing layers so you can be warm, and just be prepared for a more casual environment that's not going to be as play focused, but it's also really good for skill sharing. And depending on how it's organized, some places have like a beginning time where everyone gets to learn, if they want to, one tie or practice something all together in a group. And then there's like breakout time where people go and like practice individually or go off and do their own thing. It just sort of depends on the space. Other places are just sort of show up and work on whatever you want. Some places have more of like a monitor type role, or they have people who are running it, where the people who are running it go around, and if you want help from them, you can ask, or if you need rope, you can ask to borrow some, that kind of thing. So it's kind of variable, but usually it's more casual. It's going to be a good social setting, I would say, to meet like-minded people. And oftentimes people that are like solo tying, like, every space is different. So people are going to want, to stay individual, but oftentimes people that are self-tying or playing solo are going to be around each other versus the people that are tying with partners. You're probably going to see a mix of both, but it's a really good environment. I love it. I wish honestly that more types of BDSM had a similar environment to a rope jam, because I feel like it's really beneficial as an entry point into the kink, for having a space where people who do those kinds of things solo can meet each other, and like just any opportunity you can get to learn from your peers and get feedback is pretty much always a good thing. Why is there never jam at rope jams? Well, you probably haven't asked the right person for jam yet, is what I would say. Okay, the dog has completely moved somewhere else. She is now behind the camera, almost completely. I don't know if I can actually move the camera to be where she is. Let's find out. Nope, it's going to stop. What about the other way? Nope, can't go that way. What if can I move it? Can I very subtly move it? Let's find out. Hi, Papalina. The humans would like to see you, and you have moved. So there we go. Well, let's actually do it this way. How about that? Hi, my baby. Hello, my baby. Hello, my baby. Hello. Hello, my baby. All right. Is she going to move again? She's like a girl on the move today. Oh, it still won't let me. Oh, no, she's moving again. And now for some reason, I can't move the camera at all. Will this work? Okay, let's try that. Oh, taking me on an adventure today, Papalina. Taking me on an adventure, you are. And I also don't know why the camera is like at an angle. I don't know. We're figuring it out as we go along. All right. Hopefully she mostly stays over there. Alrighty. So also important to note, I do answer questions in the order they come in. And if there is questions along a similar train of thought, I'll usually follow on with those for a while as well, if there's follow-up comments and things like that. But I do answer questions in the order they come in, so I recommend asking early if you want to have your question answered. And otherwise, we will go from there. And you also, if you want to highlight your comment or your question so I see it right away, and I will answer it next automatically, you can use a super chat. Or you can use the link to Streamlabs down below. So this isn't even a makeup thing, but this is the first thing I use all the time. I recently discovered this. This is the Experiment Software Lip Balm. I have tried so many lip balms, lip products, lip masks, lip oils, lip glosses. Doesn't matter. Also, I do see David's thing. I'm going to finish this thought and then we will get to David's comments. This is the best lip thing ever. This is the only thing I've ever found that actually makes my lips better, even when I am not using this. It's I don't know, it's like hard. It's kind of spendy. It's not like a $5 Burt's Bees, whatever. It's like, I think it's like 11 or 12 bucks. You have to buy it from the website. It isn't available on Ulta or Sephora yet, as far as I know. But it's really good. It legitimately actually does really make your lips feel better. And I love putting it on before. I'll do like a thicker layer before I put in makeup, and I'll like have it on for a while, and then I'll wipe it off and then put on the lip product I'm going to wear for the rest of the day. And it does also layer pretty well too. If you want to layer it with like lip glosses or other products like that, maybe normally would be like, I find pretty much any lip product that is not this to be drying to some degree. This is the only thing that is actually good. So if you would like it, check it out. It's very good. All right, so let's get to what David said. Hey, Evie, I recently found the channel and your videos have helped me to understand and incorporate better methods of handling consent with my girlfriend while we do pet play. So thanks. You are very welcome, David. Thank you. I'd like to make my DS poly FFM, so like triad with 2 females and a male, with current girlfriend as the pet. She doesn't know I'm thinking about that yet, although I've given her hints. Obviously, I'd have to get her consent for that. Any advice? Yes. Okay, so this is like a whole like giant area because we're talking about DS, polyamory, a triad thing, and you're already in, I'm going to assume, a monogamous relationship that involves DS and pet play. So it's not like you're just trying to find somebody who wants that relationship when you're currently single. You're trying to make what's, I'm assuming, a monogamous or monogamish maybe relationship into something that involves a triad arrangement. I did just put out a video on polyamory DS last week. If you haven't watched it yet, I would definitely check it out. But maybe you've seen it already and you want some more specific advice for this. There is a really good book. It's a little bit older, but it's still applicable. It's by Raven Caldera, and it's called Power Circuits. And it's the only book I know of that talks about power exchange and polyamory and making that work. So depending on the level of DS you have and, you know, how long you've known each other and some other factors, you may approach this differently. So if you have a total power exchange relationship, MS, you know, you control everything day to day, and you've been doing that for a long time, maybe less negotiation is required here if you're going to be like, hey, I want to add a third person to our relationship. However, see the book Power Circuits. That does not always go particularly well, and I generally think it is best to handle DS and polyamory separately as much as possible. Like not using your power exchange to dictate the polyamory, if that's what you want, right? You said poly, so I'm assuming you want polyamory and not just, you know, maybe some other less committed type of non-monogamy. And even then, like, I think keeping those two aspects of the relationship separate, especially at first, is probably the healthiest, because this is like you're opening up like a whole new area of your DS, essentially. Whereas maybe before you were doing things like sexually or with like, you know, bathroom control or whatever, each time you introduce a new category, you have to negotiate on the basis that you've never talked about any of those things under that category before. So with this, you definitely need to have like some thorough talks and have it be something that is starting from a place of being egalitarian, not bringing your DS into the negotiation, and having an open conversation about, hey, here's an idea that I have, here's a vision I have for our relationship, and how do you feel about it? I would say you've been dropping hints. It's good to know what the reaction to that so far has been. I can think of many, many, many stories I have read of people being like, oh my God, if anyone even introduced the idea of opening up the relationship to me, that would be instant breakup territory. Like, there are some people who are even bringing up polyamory as like, can't do it. Nope, sorry, relationship over. So I would be very cautious about approaching this, because this is something that people generally have pretty strong feelings about. And it's okay to have this fantasy you want to share with your partner, but it is a relatively high risk thing for the relationship to bring it up. So need to weigh how important this is to you. And then on top of that, once you know how important it is to you, the next step is going to be, how do you bring it up? How do you talk about it? And again, be honest, be frank, don't beat around the bush. Don't drop too many hints and try to expect they're going to interpret the hints correctly. Just say, like, keep it positive, keep it something that's going to be beneficial for your relationship, but it's something that you need in order to be like true to yourself, right? To be like, if this is something you need in a relationship versus like, oh, this is like a hot fantasy that I have. Because if it's a hot fantasy to do like a scene with two women, including your girlfriend, like, you can just do that as a scene. You don't have to, and actually maybe that's a better place to start. Instead of trying to find a whole other, because what you're doing is what people will call kind of derisively like unicorn hunting, right? You're looking for a third to add into your existing dyad, your existing coupledom. And that's a pretty hard thing to find, especially if you want somebody who's going to like fit into a specific existing DS dynamic on top of polyamory. Like, that's going to be a tall order. What is much more likely to be found is going to be in play. Like, it's going to be going to a public dungeon, maybe going to a big convention or something like that, looking for a person to do like a co-topping or a co-bottoming scene, and having that as like a one-off. That could be sexual, it could be non-sexual, it could be for a really short scene, a really long scene. It could involve pep play, it could not. Like, you could take it in a million different directions. And I think starting with that, maybe opening the conversation with, how do you feel about doing play involving a third person, and just not talking about a whole romantic relationship or dating a third person or anything like that, just having it be in a scene one time where there's no ongoing commitment. I think that probably would be easier to start with, and like, we'll probably still take a lot of negotiation and conversations, and we'll probably bring up feelings that'll need to be processed. And also, ultimately, like, if your partner is not into multi-partner scenes or multi-partner relationships or triads or polyamory or anything, like, you can't make them be into it. You can't dom somebody into accepting polyamory. And I think there are people who try that, and maybe with, again, very, very high level MS relationships that have a depth of experience and knowledge of each other as people, and what, will be damaging versus not for somebody to do. There are some people who can technically do that, but I would never recommend that, just because it's so rare that that's likely to be the case, Yes, the stream did start earlier than usual. Yeah, we started at 4:30 today and not 6. But yeah, it's a whole can of worms, and I'm sorry, this is probably going to be something that's not just a one-off conversation. It's going to be probably something that will be ongoing over time for a while. But to sort of summarize what I was talking about, I would start with evaluating how important this is to you, evaluating whether or not this is like a hot fantasy, or maybe you just want to execute it in a scene and see how it goes, versus this is a relationship style you want to have, because there is a difference between fantasizing about like multi-partner sex, multi-partner scenes, or even like role play scenarios involving more than one person, versus like, I want to have both of us date a whole other third person. And then also recognizing the reality that what you were looking for is like a unicorn hunting triad where it's a heterosexual couple where they want to add in another woman who's going to fit into a very specific slot in an existing relationship. That is what a lot of people are looking for. And it's also very hard to find somebody that's okay with that. And I would almost thinking about how your existing partner feels about this is really important. It's also really important to think about how the third person you would potentially be bringing in would feel about this too. Because I find oftentimes couples are so focused on managing each other's emotions that they don't think about the new person as much. Whether that be like having a specific relationship between the two women, whether or not it's like, oh, you gotta like each other equally, you're gonna spend as much time together. We have to have, I date you on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I date them on Mondays and Fridays. Like, it can get really complicated, and people can get really bogged down in what makes the people in the existing relationship feel okay, and they don't think enough about how that applies to the new person coming in. So if that does eventually come on the table where you are actively looking for a third person, please, dear God, do not be the people on dating apps that are like, hi, we're so-and-so, and we're looking for a third for our relationship. It's just gotta be careful about how you phrase things, is I guess what I'm saying. Now, I don't have any experience in that kind of relationship. That's not how I do my polyamory, so I can't really give any specific advice on how to make that work in particular, but hopefully that gives you some things to start to think about there, because it is a big one for sure. All right, good question though. That was a good one to start off with, and if anyone in the chat has any experience with being in a triad or trying to pursue that kind of relationship, I would love to know how that went for you all. For good or for worse. All right, I'm going back to earlier in the chat here. Let's see if I missed some earlier questions. And then I will probably start doing makeup in like half an hour, because this isn't going to take me that long to do. So we're kind of just going to be focusing on questions here, like a normal stream for the next little bit. Island infections are the worst. Okay, so I've never had one before. I was like, I didn't even know how it happened. It was really frustrating. Because, of course, it's like the one thing, right? Like, and then having to, like, replace makeup and everything. Yeah, it's not great. We answered the thing about the rope tying event. VTubers are still around. Okay, good to know. Yeah, in regards to the rope tying event and the hazing from when you first joined is no big deal. My scars are practically already healed. Exactly. Not a question, but I just wanted to share some days ago, I recorded my first scene with a Prodom. Best experience I've had, not gonna lie, that's excellent. Yeah, finding a good Prodom can really be worth it. I know a lot of people can feel shame around hiring a Prodom because they think that, well, if I do BDSM, I should find it through a romantic partner, or I should find it organically through this, and like hiring someone is like worse or lesser, but like they are professionals for a reason, and like there are so-called Prodoms out there that don't really know what they're doing and are just trying to make a quick buck because they saw that, Prodoms seem to make a lot of money. But if you find one that is legitimately really experienced and likes the same kinks as you, it's good. It's good stuff. Prodoms are really good. Like, I've even done, like, I haven't dated, like, a Prodom or anything like that, but I've done scenes with Prodoms before, like, done little, like, tasters and samplers and things, and even just doing a little, like, sampler scene, there is a specific skill set that I feel like Prodoms develop because of their work that lifestyle Doms don't naturally develop without intentionally doing it. Like, when I've played with Prodoms, even though they don't really know me and we're just doing like a little 30-minute sampler thing, like they make me feel like they're really into me, they want to be playing with me, we have some kind of important connection, and that, I think, is part of what makes playing with a Prodom who's good at what they do really good, because they're able to quickly establish, without maybe the same kind of background a romantic relationship would have, this intimate connection that makes the play feel really good. Whereas pickup play with lifestyle people, like they don't necessarily know how to emotionally connect with a person or even create kind of the facade of that connection maybe more accurately. The way that a Prodom can. And like, is it real? Like, I think that's why people think, oh, well, this Prodom, she's really into me, or this sex worker, like, she's really into me, she's in love with me, and I can tell because of how she interacts with me when we're together. And it's like, nah, she's just really good at customer service. She's just really good at customer service. Is ultimately what it is, which is funny that some people are like, no, she's really into me like that. Like, are you sure? Okay, buddy. Yeah, it's a rope jam. Okay, yeah. Hopefully that gave you, I know I had to give you kind of a broad answer on what a rope jam is and what to expect, but hopefully that gave you some kind of idea. Thanks for popping in, Lexi. Hope you're having a good time and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Good question from DC Stevens, kind of following along with the Prodom comment. What are your thoughts about Findom/Fin-sub relationships? At what point do you think such relationships stray into becoming simply abusive, or do you think any Findom/Fin-sub relationship is abusive? Okay, good question. Okay, and I just finished reading this one, so I will finish this one from Steven first, and then we will get into the comment from Spencer, which, this isn't a question, so I'll just go ahead and read it. Thank you for everything that you do. You inspired me to get out there and start exploring these desires. Now I find a dom and have never felt happier, plus a bunch of friends you're great at. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Spencer. I'm assuming you're great at what you do is maybe the last little thought there. But genuinely, like, I think one of the underrated things about the kink community is friendship. It's very hard to make friends as an adult, especially depending on how you work, if maybe you work remotely, or depending on what kind of office culture you're in, or the city you live in, or where you live in the world. It can be really hard to make friends as an adult. And when you're kinky, the kink community is a fantastic way of meeting like-minded people that you can be your whole self around, and that I think naturally lends itself pretty well to making friends. Of course, there's always drama, and there's infighting, and there's all kinds of things, that people will do that can make it seem like the kink community is not the friendliest place, because drama happens in any hobby subculture. That's ultimately what BDSM is. But I think it's really great, especially when you can find a relationship like you found a dom that feels really positive for you and feels like you're saying you've never felt happier. Like, that's so beautiful. Thank you for sharing. That's really beautiful. I love it. Yes, she has finally hit her rebellious phase. She's 13. I guess that is a good age for creatures to get a rebellious phase. All right, but getting back to DC Stevens' question about Findom and Fin-sub relationships. Or do you think any Findom/Fin-sub relationship is abusive? So a short answer to the last part is there is basically no kind of kink relationship that I think is inherently abusive on its face universally. Even when I've talked critically about things like female supremacy or male supremacy, how people will use those either as legitimate belief systems or role play tools for, I'm a dom because I am woman, and all women are superior over all men, and men are born to serve women. That's their natural place in the world. Like, there's a way to do that that's like an insular in the relationship role play thing where you don't really believe that as an actual philosophy of how nature is, of how human society should be structured. I think that's fine. But I think that can get into abuse when you're using it as a way to say that, all women must be submissive to men because it's in their genes. Like, calm down. Calm down. You have not met some of the Prodoms I know, if you think that. So no, I don't really think anything in kink is universally abusive, assuming it's actually a kink thing and not like an abusive relationship that's masquerading as a DS or a BDSM thing because it's a convenient cover. I think, is there a line? At what point is there an inflection point where it suddenly becomes abusive? I think the line actually is probably similar to what I would say for self-harm in BDSM, where people have a history of self-harm, right? They can engage in BDSM, they can do masochism, they can even do things that are closely related to their self-harm activities with a partner in a controlled environment in a way that makes them feel better at the end of it, that is healthy for the relationship, and that ultimately is either productive or neutral for their mental health and doesn't make them feel worse. And I think if there's going to be any kind of bold line for Findom on when it's objectively like bad, or people can still choose to do bad things, right? People can still choose to have unhealthy relationships. We can't really stop them. They're independent adults. We can't interfere too much. But I would say the inflection point where it gets concerning to me is when, after doing something involving Findom, the person feels worse at the end of it, and there's actual like long-term negative ramifications that are difficult to recover from, and or it's something that they do compulsively that they don't have a lot of control over. So it's one thing, and it's like, it's sort of like gambling. If you're doing it and it's like, okay, once in a blue moon, maybe once or twice a year, you like bet on like the Oscars, okay? Because you think that's fun and you like watching the Oscars, and it's like maybe a fun way to have, stakes to your Oscar viewing party. Okay, that's fine. But if you're compulsively gambling and you spend all day gambling and you're in a bunch of debt and you can't get out of it and you keep doing more and more and more because you're so sure that the next time you're finally going to make money, you can start to get out of this debt, that's definitely when it's a problem. Probably well before then it was a problem too, but that's a pretty clear cut, oh yeah, this is a gambling issue. It's no longer a one-off occasional fun thing anymore. Now it's going to potentially ruin your life for a very long time, if not forever. So it's about like mentally, how does it affect the people involved long term? Is it neutral or positive for their mental health? Does it make them feel worse? Is it something that is done within the confines of a consented relationship, i.e. somebody's not being like blackmailed or forced into doing it? And is it something that is, what term am I thinking of? Oh yeah, the compulsion part. Like, is it something the person's doing compulsively because they can't help themselves? Or are they doing it in a more measured way where they're only engaging in it when it feels right to do so, and they could actually stop and walk away at any time? They're not being pressured into it either internally or externally. That would probably be what I would say. I don't even necessarily think it's about like the amount of money or the type of Findom. Like, that's so subjective. Like, you know, I know people that are in the tech industry that make like $300,000 a year, that live in like a low cost of living area and they own a house, and like dropping, you know, $4,000 a month on like Findom stuff, like isn't necessarily going to hurt their bank account long term. Like, could they have spent that money more wisely? Definitely. But like, you know, their retirement account is being maxed out every month. You know, they have a house, they have sustainable relationships, you know, it isn't negatively impacting their day to day. So they can spend more money than maybe somebody who like works at a grocery store and makes like $9 an hour and like lives in an apartment with a roommate. But it's hard to say just as a random example without having something in front of me, like whether or not something is good or bad. But I think a lot of people have very strong opinions about Findom because, like, you know, we live in a world where money makes things happen, and a lot of Americans are one missed paycheck or an injury or an extended illness away from being totally bankrupt or having very serious debt problems. So playing with money feels very dangerous for a lot of people, which is exactly why it's appealing for a lot of people too. But for a lot of people, it just seems like this thing that should not be touched because it's simply too dangerous. Yeah, I have a blackmail kink, and in the past, finding partners was always a dicey thing. It took a bit of time to make sure they weren't in it to create harm. Yeah. Especially because I've gotten so many stories from people over the years that they, like, have a supposed, you know, pro-dom reach out to them, and they'll say, you know, take this picture for me, you know, hold up a sign that says your name and your age, and, you know, put on a hood and, you know, hold it naked and whatever. And like, they basically, their opening salvo for the relationship is blackmail. People think that's normal because of the types of fantasy content they consume. And they go, well, you know, I guess if I want to play with a prodom, like, this is what I have to do. And it's like, no. That should also be negotiated. But it's hard because, like, to do the blackmail roleplay in the most, like, authentic way, it is higher risk. And it does take time to find people that are capable of doing that ethically because, you know, a lot of prodoms, depending on who they are, don't really know what they're doing and are kind of just winging it because it's a good way to make money. And a lot of people that leap into the more intense psychological things like blackmail are not necessarily the most experienced prodoms, because a lot of them were like traditional, you know, trained in person at a dungeon prodoms. Like, a lot of them don't even touch that stuff because it's so risky. And a lot of them just stick to, you know, caning, flogging, etc. And the more psychological online stuff they don't do as often. Alrighty. So good question, though. Good question. All right. I'm going to move on to the next one here. Yeah, Bandit is revoking her consent to being filmed. That's a good point. I should ask her before I start streaming if she wants to be filmed that day. If only she could tell me. Going to my first ever Munch next week, and I'm a bundle of nerves because I am in general socially awkward. So this is super hard for me. Any tips? Oh, Jonathan, believe it or not, I too am socially awkward and introverted. That's why I do YouTube as a job. I don't work in an office because I do not agree with office culture. It's not my thing. So what has been helpful for me, and this is my general sort of spiel about going to a first time Munch, is check out who's going ahead of time. Try to preview it's going to be a group of people that are like you, right? If you're 25, if everyone who is RSVP'd to the Munch is 50 years old, like maybe that's not the right environment for you. Oh. Okay, I don't know why it started happening, but I didn't change anything that I'm aware of. But for some reason, my Ring doorbell now chimes whenever anything goes by, and it used to be silent. Okay, I think I've muted it. This is like the time of day where like everyone around me is coming home from work, so like my Ring camera goes off like 10 times in a row. All right, hopefully it's not going to be an issue. Oh, nope. More sound is happening. Okay, we're just going to mute everything. There we go. Okay, so getting into a Munch. Check out who's RSVP'd. Check if there's any rules for the event. Do they have information about dress code, what to expect of the event? Are there activities that's going to be happening at the event? Like, is there pinball, board games? Is it an axe throwing place? Is it a speakeasy diner? Like, what's going to be happening there? And I would generally recommend, though you've seemingly already picked out a Munch, if you're looking for a Munch to go to, I recommend one that has some kind of activity at it. It could be, again, video games, pinball, board games, a hiking Munch even. Like if you like more outdoor activities, like there are definitely rock climbing Munches, hiking Munches, ice skating Munches. Like I've seen it all. Okay. Knitting Munches, yoga Munches, they're all out there if you look hard enough and depending on where you live, of course. So pick one that has an activity at it, because I find, especially for people who are socially awkward, it's like going to the punch bowl at prom. Like you are going to do something in the environment that's part of the experience that is not just talking to random people. And if you can get invested in like somebody else's pinball game or join up with a board game that's already happening, it's a lot easier to integrate socially with people than just being like, "Hi, my name's Jonathan. How are you?" And hoping that works out. So yeah, looking for a Munch that has some kind of activity is always a good idea. Getting there early, I also recommend too, because especially if you're overwhelmed by large numbers of people and crowds, usually Munches get busier the longer they go on. Of course, if it goes till really late at night and it's a weeknight, people are going to clear out, probably by 10 or so. But let's say the Munch starts at like 6, I would be there at 6. And it's going to be easier to break into conversations when you show up earlier. There's also going to be less people, so it's going to be easier to find people to talk to as opposed to just being lost in maybe a sea of people. And I would also say too, if you can message the organizers ahead of time and tell them, "Hey, I'm going to be new. My name's Jonathan." Hopefully they will be welcoming to you. Some Munches are not that way. Some Munches are less supervised, and they're not necessarily going to have a lot of oversight from the organizers, and they are not going to be the welcome wagon, whereas other Munches are more geared towards new people, and they're very welcoming, and whoever is running it is very happy to make sure whoever is new is going to be introduced and be welcomed into the group. And if you can find a group like that, I highly recommend it, especially because it's going to facilitate the most awkward part of that, which is knowing how to break into somebody else's conversation or find somebody to have a conversation with. And also, outside of the dress code, because depending on the Munch, there are some places they're going to have dress codes, but assuming that there's not one that's super strict, I always recommend if you have something that you can wear, like a t-shirt or a lanyard or a pin or something that's related to something that's really important to you, like if you're really into Star Wars or a particular anime or a video game, give something for someone to start a conversation over. If you're just wearing plain all black clothing, it's a lot harder for people to read you. Whereas if they see, "Oh, this person's a horror movie fan or an anime fan, or they like this one video game that I like." Even outside of Munches, I have had entire friendships start on the fact that I recognized the icon from a video game that somebody was wearing on a t-shirt. And then we were able to have a conversation about that, and then it turned into a friendship. So that is a really good way to go. And then don't feel obligated to stay the whole time. It's okay to show up for like half an hour, 20 minutes, and then like peace out if it doesn't feel good. Listen to your gut. If you don't feel comfortable, if things don't feel right, don't force yourself to be there because it's not really going to help you. And there's not any real reason to do that. Try a different munch next week. Go back at a different time. You know, there are so many munches in most big cities that if one isn't right for you, just try a different one the next week. And like, it'll take some more confidence to probably get out there and try it again. But it doesn't mean that kink isn't for you if you go to one munch and it's not your people, right? As an introvert, I find that having well-defined roles helps interactions. If I have a job or a task to do, I find socializing within the remit of that task pretty easy and even enjoyable. That's also true too, because we're talking about munches right now, but this is also why volunteering is a really good way to get into the community, because what is volunteering if not having a well-defined role to be able to help with something? If you can help with the front desk, if you can do tear down or setup, if you can fold the laundry, if maybe the space has sheets or something like that. That is a really good way to meet other volunteers, to be involved in the community where, hey, you have a job to do. So if you don't want to socialize, you can just focus on the job. But when you're on the job, like people are naturally going to talk to you because you're helpful. And that, I think, is a really good alternative to a munch. Because I don't really like munches. I gotta be honest. Like, I go to them sometimes. It's very occasional. I'm not a big munch person outside of, like, if I'm trying to meet new people, I will make myself go to munches. But I don't really like them. They're kind of a necessary evil. And I feel like I would much rather, like, meet people through volunteering or some kind of shared activity than just, like, a regular sit-down chit-chat munch. I like discussion groups. I like classes. I like volunteering. Munches are definitely bottom of the list for me personally, but they are a good entry point. A question here, or maybe comment from Jar of Bees. Oh no. Not a jar of bees. Is it still poly if I would like everyone involved to be dating each, it says each or similar. I think that probably is supposed to be each other, rather than it being open for anyone to see whoever they want. Yes. So what you're describing is called polyfidelity, which is a subset of polyamory where you are in a closed group where people in the group are dating each other in various arrangements. It's not necessarily everyone is dating everyone in the group, but like you're not bringing in outside people to randomly date. However, I find that most cases I can think of polyfidelity didn't start as polyfidelity. They started as polyamorous, and then over time, usually like a couple or a triad, and then another couple or another triad, they got really close to each other, and they just felt like polysaturated and satisfied with all dating each other in their various arrangements, and they just kind of went, are we done dating? And they go, yeah, and they think, okay, well then let's just close things off, and let's not date other people. But that's pretty rare. Like this is sort of like if you're going to think, okay, what's the most popular way of doing things versus what is the rarest thing to actually obtain? I would say an equilateral triad where people are all dating each other equally and like it's otherwise closed. That is pretty rare. Somewhat less rare, but in terms of desirability, it's also less common too at the same time. So it kind of evens out. Is polyfidelity like that, where it's closed and like a group are dating each other in various arrangements, but it's still under the polyamorous umbrella, I would say. It's just far less common because, you know, dating is difficult. And even if you're with somebody for like 2, 3, 4 years, like relationships and people move and people at some point like probably want like a new relationship. Like if you have a group thing going, like people move, they change jobs, they change genders, like things happen in life. And sometimes people go, okay, well now I want something different. Or people want kids or they don't want, oh, sorry, I have hiccups now. They want kids, they don't want kids, they want to live together in a commune, they don't. Like things happen that can disrupt their relationship that causes maybe people to want to date outside of the group or to bring new people in. And I would say it's a good goal to have. And it's definitely something that can be accomplished, but it's very rarely something that happens like one and done, forever and always, for 20 and 30 years. We don't date outside the group at all. I would say that actually is probably more common amongst older people in the polyamorous community, more so than younger people, though, if you're looking at that. I don't know what Skibbity Ohio means. I wish I could tell you, but I don't know, honestly. I'm scared. I don't know if I want to find out. Happy International Women's Day. Ooh, time to play that scene from Deadpool again. That's the only way to celebrate International Women's Day. Unrelated to my date activities for the evening, I will have you know. But that is funny. That is a good reminder. I am neurodivergent, but I don't have ADHD. How about that? I don't have ADHD. I'm not autistic, but I am neurodivergent for other reasons. But I don't usually talk about my own mental health on my channel, just because that's the word I was looking for. I looked at my phone and I instantly remembered before I Googled it what it was. I am the collective executive function in my polycules. I am the one. I am the keeper of the times and the dates. It is my holy and righteous place in the polycule. All right, next question here from Jess. So I saw your video on the exotic animal roleplay, and I'm interested in dolphin and owl stuff. How would you do that? And penguin. Okay, so many. Dolphin, owl, okay. It's like all different. But I love it. I love that you want to explore different interesting things that feel right to you. That's great. So with birds, especially owls and raptors, I feel like the predominant thing about them is they're very fastidious and they have very set routines and they don't like those routines to be altered from. So if I was thinking about like an owl or a raptor, I would think about like very strict routines. Probably something involving like roosting or like making some kind of like nest box area with some kind of like modified cage, or maybe like a pompous-on. Actually, that would be great. Okay, bird players, idea for your version of a cage: get a big pompous-on chair and fill it with like blankets and like feather pillows and shit. I feel like that would be adorable and it would probably be pretty awesome. My main point of reference for any kind of bird-related roleplay is I knew someone who was a animal role player whose animal was a raven. And I have a very distinct memory that I've probably referenced even in that video of they did like an egg-laying scene involving like glass Benoit balls that were egg-shaped. And it was a very intense, it was very like psychologically intense scene. There was a vibrator involved, I think, at some point. To be honest, I didn't look too closely, but they seemed to be enjoying themselves. I feel like that kind of thing could also be enjoyable to do too. And then like, owls and raptors are trainable. If you see any kind of like owl show at a zoo, for example, or like an animal rescue, like they can be trained to do certain things. So that could be potentially fun to play with as well. And also doing like enrichment activities. I'd honestly, anytime you're playing an exotic animal, I would look up enrichment activities from zoos, like with those animals. So I don't know off the top of my head what like a penguin enrichment activity would be. I feel like it probably involves putting like anchovies in like a block of ice and then having to like get the anchovies out from the block of ice or something slowly over time. But like that kind of thing could be fun to reference. Zookeeping stuff. There's all kinds of like even Instagram videos, although they're not always the most accurate, of people doing things with animals, and that can be a good place to start with. And then what was the other one? A dolphin. I don't know, honestly, dolphins are kind of fucked up. I don't have positive mental associations with dolphins. But probably, I feel like renting an Airbnb with like a full-sized pool would probably be the way to make that fantasy happen. And there are like swimming strokes that you can do that are similar to like how dolphins swim. So maybe you want to learn how to do that. Like there's a couple of different names for that stroke. I can't remember what it is right now because my brain's fried. But like a mermaid, or like symphonics or something. I don't remember what the fuck we called it in swimming. But learning how to do that kind of like swimming technique maybe could make that more accurate. Or like bodysuits. I definitely know that there are like, if you get like an all gray, like a bodysuit, like a sleek swimsuit, I think that would like really enhance the roleplay experience. And then for like owls or penguins, I'd like a face mask. I feel like might be a good roleplay item to start with. I don't know if that really answers your question. Let me know. But unfortunately, like for more exotic animals where there's not as much information from a lifestyle setting within the BDSM community and what people do, it's probably going to be play that's more independent and is probably based on like zookeeper type activities versus like maybe something with a more domestic animal. I know people probably keep domestic owls like as pets. That feels like a thing, like an owl cafe. I'm sure there's like an owl cafe in Japan. That seems like that's probably animal abuse. I got to be honest. Like owls are probably not meant to socialize with people that much those hours of the day, but that could be a point of reference potentially. Dolphins can jump through hoops, so making them do so is problematic. I mean, I think that probably making animals, especially wild animals that are not domesticated, do any kind of activity for humans' pleasure and for no other reason is like probably not good. But yeah. Hi, I love your videos. I'm 18. By the way, your channel, okay, good. You're above the age to be here. Your channel is the best channel I've ever watched on YouTube. Keep it up. Well, thank you so much, and Ardent. I think it is Ardent. I don't know. Hopefully that was close to being correct. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Oh my God. How could I forget Guardians of Ga'Hoole or Ga'Hoole? I actually don't know how it's pronounced because I read that book and I know there's a movie. I never watched it, but I fucking loved the Guardians of Ga'Hoole books. Ga'Hoole, whatever the fuck it is. Those books are fantastic. It's like Watership Down for owls, and it's great. Those books are the bomb.com. I love those books. I don't know if they hold up as an adult. I haven't reread them. I read them, I don't know, when I was like in middle school, I think. Oh, they were so fun. Yeah, but also there is a movie. I don't know how accurate the movie is to the books. There's lots of fun things in the books, though. There's lots of I don't know. It's unexpectedly like dark and interesting ways. Where would you suggest getting information on exotic pet play? I mean, I already talked about where. I'm sorry if that answer isn't sufficient for you. There's just not a lot of resources for it. YouTube videos from zookeepers looking at, enrichment activities for exotic animals, reading books that are related to that creature that you're interested in, be it a dolphin or a penguin or owls or what have you, either fantasy creatures or actual, maybe like a marine biology book or something that is focused on penguins or focused on dolphins or something like that. That would be where I would start with that. Can't think of really anything else, to be honest. If you're reading books about the animals and you're watching YouTube videos about the animals and you're watching zoo live streams of the sea otter enclosure at the Seattle Aquarium, I don't know where else you would go, to be honest. I think that's about as good of a perspective as you're going to get because these are so niche that there's not community resources built up around those things. Yes, and the Warriors books, those are also good to an extent, and they kind of went on for forever. But we weren't talking about cats at this exact moment. But the Warriors books are really good too. Those were also fantastic. I don't know which one came first between Warriors and the Guardians of Ga'Hoole. I think it was probably Warriors because those things have been in publication for 20 years at this point probably. But yeah, they're all really good things. That is what I was thinking of, was the dolphin roleplay, because both men and women, human women and men, have attempted to have relations successfully and unsuccessfully with dolphins. I would not advise that. If you want to do that kind of animal roleplay, you can do dark roleplay, and I think probably doing any kind of animal roleplay involving an animal kept in a zoo is kind of inherently a form of dark animal roleplay or dark pet play. So you're already kind of there already. I'm not really going to give advice on how to do what essentially amounts to CNC R-word pet play stuff. But that is also very hyper-specific and will probably be more in the details of the negotiation with the specific person you're playing with versus something that you can get general advice about doing. Oh no, I wouldn't. Pony play, I would say, is just pet play. It's definitely not exotic. It's very popular. It's like the OG form of pet play. There are so many, by comparison, kitten play and puppy play are brand new. We have drawings about pony play going back 100 years at this point, even longer, depending on where you're looking. The warrior cats to kid and play pipeline. I mean, I'm not going to argue with it. I think that is definitely a thing that happens. Alrighty. Good question. I'm going to grab my blanket real quick, and we're going to keep answering questions. Don't worry, but I am going to get started on doing some makeup here in a moment. All right. Blanket time. This is how I am every day when I edit videos or when I'm writing. This is how I look. I'm wearing my robe and I have my blanket and it's beautiful, and I would never change it for the world. Okay, I'm gonna put my hair back here. Okay, there we go. Step 1 complete. Actually, step 1 was the lip stuff, which I'm actually going to probably put more on. Okay, so the main thing that we're going to be doing today, and we're doing some face stuff. I have a couple of different like lip things that I want to try out. And something that, you know, I will not visually see, but I feel like I must remark upon is I have a new perfume that I've been testing out. And I like to code my perfumes to certain partners. I don't know if that's a thing that people do, but I personally really like it when I have fragrance association with things. I feel like it's a really good tool for kink relationships, primal play. It's fantastic for so many things. But I like to have certain fragrances that I wear around certain people because then I have scent memories associated with like the times that I've been with them and scenes that we've done and just activities in general. And it's nice to just have that be, I think, specific to different people. It's like a way of like, you know, I don't know. I feel like in polyamory, it's good to have little ways to show people that they're like special and unique and that they are like there's like, I don't know. Hopefully you get it. It's like, it just helps people feel like they're special in some kind of weird way. But I'm trying this new perfume and I'm obsessed with it. And I don't know how to pronounce it because it's French. So somebody can correct me in the comments, but it's Musc Revageur, and it's by Maurice Roussel. And it is, I just got a little, I don't know, this is like a 5 ml sample, I think. It's from Frédéric Malle, and it is fantastic. It's a unisex fragrance. So if you're non-binary, if you're a man, if you're a woman, if you're whatever gender, anyone can wear it. And I love this because it's like a spicy vanilla fragrance. It's oriental. It's not actually a musk fragrance. It's kind of labeled as that, but it's not actually a musk fragrance. It's a spicy oriental vanilla. And I think it came out in like 2000, 2002. So it's a little bit older, which I don't really like necessarily have modern perfumes. So this like works for me. And I feel like this is like such a perfect, like dark, romantic, intimate fragrance. And obviously all fragrances play in different people's skin differently, so your mileage will vary. But if you want a perfume that does not necessarily smell like everything else you've smelled at like a department store, this one is really good. And I feel like if you want to achieve a certain vibe, if you want to have a vibe like me, I guess, this is really fantastic. I love it. So that's what I'm wearing for fragrance. Because I feel like I've never actually shared fragrance before. And this is like a new thing that I'm really into. Oh, and it has crazy lasting power, by the way. This thing, I recommend actually if you have an activity you're going to, I've already put this on. I would put it on like an hour before whatever thing you're going to and really let it dry down, because it changes from, it has like this like licorice note up front, has like a lavender licorice note immediately, and then it really dries down, at least on me, to like this warm, spicy vanilla fragrance the longer that it's on. But this lasts. Like I will wear this one day, and then 2 showers later, I can still smell it on my skin. And not super intense, right? But just like a little bit of a hint of the fragrance is there. The very, very, very base notes are still there. So if you want something that's going to last, and it does have, I would say it has moderate sillage, so it like, you know, it's not going to like blast somebody like the next block over. But a little goes a long way. One spray will do you. It'll last for a long time. So it's value for the money. You don't have to do like 5-6 sprays to smell nice when you're wearing it. Anyways, that's my perfume recommendation. Fragrance association is real. I have a specific vape flavor just for vacation because of the smell association. That is fantastic, actually. I love it. You're like, I know that I'm on island time because of this vape flavor. It's true, though. It's so true. It's so true. So it kind of sounds like you're introducing a Pavlovian response via scent, but I don't know if you're doing it for yourself, your partner, or both. Yes. I'm doing it for everyone involved. It's for me. It's for my partner. I like it because when I put it on, it gets me, like, it's a way for me when I put it on to get into, oh, it's date night time. It's scene time. I'm thinking about the person that I'm going to be seeing, and that makes me feel happy. So it's a way for me to get into my headspace. And it's also a way, like, to create an association for the person that I'm with, for me, because of the scent that I'm wearing consistently. I really wish I could wear cologne regularly, but I'm super sensitive to smells, and colognes or strong perfumes often give me headaches. Yeah, I would not. I would not wear this. Definitely too strong if you have like migraines or like things that are scent activated that you are sensitive to, for sure. But yes, I am introducing like a Pavlovian response. I'm doing it to myself and to other people, which I feel like is fair. It's honestly really hard, especially with smells you're wearing on yourself, to only have the other person be affected. I don't even know how you would do that, honestly. I guess if you just plugged your nose the entire time. Or maybe you just didn't have a sense of smell at all. Maybe that's how you do it. Alrighty. So I'm going to get into putting on some face stuff here. Did I have anything I wanted to mix this with? I do want to get out my concealer. Do I want to do concealer first? I'll do concealer second. All right. So my very ancient, disgusting bottle that I definitely need to replace of the Pretty Fresh ColourPop foundation. This is like a skin tint. It's actually a tinted moisturizer, technically. This is 1N because that's the shade that I wear. And I do like about a pump and a half. And I warm it up in my fingers. And it's going to look crazy. It's going to look weird, but then it's going to be fine. All right. You got to trust the process on this one. I'm hoping it's not going to be too light for me. We'll see. And then we rub it into our face. And it smells, doesn't really have that strong of a smell, actually. I feel like a lot of foundation products, especially like luxury ones, will have a scent attached to them. But yeah, I like this one because it's pretty rare that a tinted moisturizer will be the proper shade for me. And yeah, you could use a brush. I might actually use a brush and kind of go over some areas here. I'm gonna rearrange things closer. Is it gonna do the thing where it doesn't want to focus on my face because the mirror is closer? Yes. Great. Love that. All right, let's move it this way. Okay, great. And okay, that looks perfect. Love it. All right, now we're gonna do some concealer. I like the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer for spot concealing, but I ran out of it and I have a mini of it. I haven't rebought it yet. So I've just been using I'm a believer in this now. I used to be a hater and now I'm a believer. A la Smash Mouth. This is the Maybelline. I use this for videos too. I don't use that foundation for videos, but I use this for videos. I actually this is the shade 110. When I'm filming videos, I use the shade 95, which I think is the lightest shade for my under eyes. But for everyday wear, because it has more of a brightening effect to it, but for everyday wear, I use the 110, and this is the Instant Age Rewind Eraser Multi-Use Concealer. And this actually, I normally just use it for under eyes, but actually it's pretty good at spot concealing as well. The applicator for it is very unique, but I feel like it works pretty well. Do some like light spot concealer. I'm really loving how this foundation is looking, honestly. It like looks pretty nice. I'm gonna bring it down to my neck a little bit. Do my eyes. I had a whole thing I was gonna do where I had like eye gels, like hyaluronic acid eye gels I was gonna like wear before putting on makeup, and then just they got too crazy and I didn't put them on. You guys didn't get to see me with like eye gels and stuff on, you know, before doing all this. Okay, so that's great. Ta-da, there we go. Base stuff done. Now before I do lips, before I do the rest of my face, actually, I have lip options. And I don't know which lip I want to wear. I'm trying out, they didn't have the color I wanted in the store. They're like really picked over, like in person at Ulta for these. But this must be like popular on TikTok or something. This is the NYX Lip IV, and it's supposed to be a hydrating gloss serum like stain. My favorite stain, and partly 5% because of the name, is the Milani Color Fetish lip stain, because these work really well and they look beautiful. The tones for some reason just like work really well with me. This actually isn't the color I want though. This is the like My Lips But Better color. I wanted to wear a darker one. This one is Bitten Berry, and I also have Mauve Mentality, which is also really pretty. And this one is Blush Rush. And I wanted to try this and see how it looked. Like, I like it. It's just not as dark as I want it to be. I feel like it's not as dark on my lips. But I don't know. You let me know what you think. Is this a suitable color? I haven't like fully lined my lips. But before I commit to doing that, I want to make sure this is like a decent color. It does feel really nice on the lips though, I would say. I'll see if it ends up being drying or not, but it does like have a balmy, like silicone-y like consistency to it. Which I like. I'm a big believer in silicones. People hate silicones. I think they're great. I think silicones are great. Oh, and also I should probably, to give you a sense of like the full look, right? Like here's my hair. Here's the lip. What do we think? I like the color personally. It's a pretty gloss. Honestly, keeping track of the makeup names alone would drive me to distraction. It is difficult to keep track of. Oh, a lip stain, not a wax-based lipstick. The only lipsticks I like have been the NYX ones. Oh, true, those ones are good. But the waxiness is sometimes too much. Yeah, I basically like, I'm like a lip stain person now. Like this is just the only thing I really feel like wearing. If I'm not like filming a video. I do like wearing like if I'm doing like black, I will wear a black lipstick, like a liquid lipstick. But for everyday stuff, I prefer something where I can layer this on top of it and it makes my lips feel nice. Well, I guess I'm not even going for like a standard. I guess you guys can't really like see my whole outfit here. I'll like try to show you all, I guess. Here, we'll do the full. I don't know if I've ever like actually done like an outfit thing on stream before. Okay. So this is the top. I'm wearing like kick flare. Here, like, where do we need to move to show you all? I'm wearing like kick flare pants. Oh, we're gonna turn off the dog camera here. That'll make it easier. Here. I'm wearing like kick flare pants. Everything is in the way. Oh my god. Ah! Everything's in the way. I'm wearing kick flare pants and like these new shoes I got. Ooh, look at that. Very fancy. And I have this really cool jacket. There you go. Makes me look like a ghost when I step away like that, but yeah. I don't have like the jacket like properly on there. But yeah, it's sort of like corporate goth, corporate minimalist goth meets like meets 80s retro, I guess, with the jacket. If you have a metallic belt of some sort, well, there's no belt loops. There's no belt loop on these pants. They're just like, it's just like flat, you know. I did actually try it on with the. I did try it on with the belt. I don't have just a metal belt. I have a belt that has rivets on it, and I have a plain, like a thinner, like silver buckle belt that I got recently. But I didn't feel like it went. I don't know. I struggle with pants that don't have. I prefer pants that don't have belt loops in them because I feel like I can style them more easily without a belt. But I don't know. No belt loops, loose over top. Okay. Oh, I see what you're saying. Like kind of like a loose belt, but like a thicker. That is a good point. I might be able to do something with that. Let me check something. Alrighty. Here are belt options. I have this is like a Dickies just like rivet belt. And then this is a Mary Wyatt like barbed wire belt. And then that comes with a detachable chain thing I can put in different spots. I guess, can I put it on this? I haven't tried that before, actually. I think I can. Ooh, I can actually layer. I could put the chain on this belt, too. I'm kind of leaning towards that. Pro wrestling belts go with every outfit. Unfortunately, I don't have a pro wrestling belt, I don't think. I feel like the top, like the top neckline is also very like because I love 90s and 2000s goth. That's like my favorite. It's my favorite era of music. It's my favorite era of fashion. But I feel like this neckline is also kind of giving 90s, and the kick flares for sure. I also just got these pants. Okay, first of all, let's talk about this. I'm gonna sit down again. So everything in this outfit is thrifted, except for the necklace, which I don't remember where I got. I think maybe from a Nordstrom rack. I honestly don't know. But this is thrifted. The pants are thrifted. Shoes are thrifted. Bag is thrifted. Coat is thrifted. Everything's thrifted, except for the belts. I bought both of these new. But the pants I just got like 2 days ago, and they had a hole. They had like multiple like little tiny holes, and like these are nice. These are nice pants too. They're Theory pants, okay? Like they're a good brand, like a workwear brand. Okay, they're supposed to be good, but there are like little tiny holes in the seams, like probably about like this big. And I had to like I spent like an hour last night just like sewing. Just like fixing like 3 different seam tears in these pants, just so I could wear them. I'm like, well, I only paid $20 for these, so I guess I don't know what I was expecting. All right, let's see how this. I can adjust this, so I can kind of put it like anywhere I want. Are we doing kind of like this type syndrome? Oh wait, do I have it the wrong way around? What the fuck's happening here? Oh no. we like this? Where do we want the buckle? I feel like I like the buckle to the side. Let me put this more to the side. I don't know. There's almost too many options. Okay, we love it. We think it looks great. Okay, perfect. I was trying to have it be more like angled like this. I think maybe if I put the belt on tighter, I could probably do that. I don't know. I'm fucking with it too much. All right, there we go. We're just gonna leave like this. I need my wallet. I need to be able to hook a wallet to this. That's what I need. How tight can you go with the belt for science? Well, I have a 24.5-inch waist, so that's how tight I could make the belt go. But technically, infinitely tight, because you can close the belt head. I don't know what, like the belt buckle, like as tight as you want on this theoretically. Theoretically. All right. All right. I think I'm not feeling this. I think we need something a little bit darker. I'm gonna see if I can grab the other shade I have of this too. All right. This one, where's the other one? Binberry. These are the two that I want. Okay. Ta-da! I did leave like a nice stain behind. I do think this is a really good like My Lips But Better stain color, I think. Temporarily changing the stream time just for today. One time only, randomly at 4:30 because I feel like it. Okay. So these are other. This is Mauve Mentality. Of course, I've moved everything everywhere in my frantic desire to show off my outfit. Alright, this is Mauve Mentality, which I think I've probably gotten on my teeth somehow. And this is Bitten Berry. There you go. You can see this one is a lot more like purpley brown, and then this one's a lot more red. I'm obviously going to leave the house exactly like this, by the way. Yeah, it was, normally we start at 6, and this stream started at 4:30, so it was about an hour and a half early. I prefer the berry one too. All right, I think we're on board the berry train. All right, there we go. Cool. All right, I'm gonna just. Remember when people used to just have foundation lips? Remember when that was a thing we did? Remember that era of life? All right, we're gonna re-moisturize. Berry was the second one. Evie's heading out tonight to give her date to Deadpool International Women's Day treatment. I'm going to tell them you said that, and they're going to think that's really funny, because that's not going to happen. No, I wouldn't. No surprise pegging for anyone. Sorry. I know. One day foundation lips are going to be back. They're going to be back, and it's going to be so fucking funny. Foundation lips are going to be a thing once again. So it is written in the prophecies. All right, we're going to apply this, and then I have something to put on top of it. I really wish they made more colors of these. Although the colors of them that I do have, I really like, so it's like, I don't really know what other ones I'd buy. They do make like a more traditional, like true red one.
Dark_desires donated $5.
Oh.
Dom space scares the crap out of me. When I hear some of the stories about subspace and think of anything similar but while being in the driver's seat, I get scared. Any advice?
The driver's set? Good job, voice to text. Any advice? Let me not be putting something on my lips while I'm answering that. There we go. All right, are you ready? We're gonna do the other lips thing real quick. Where did I put the other lip thing? Did it disappear in here? Where did I put it? I didn't take it with me, did I? I definitely had it out earlier. Oh, it's already out. Here it is. All right. This is a new NYX thing as well. This is the Duck Plump. This is like a black, like a sparkly, multicolor lip plumper. And this is like the actually spiciest lip plumper I've ever tried. Like it legit is peppery. Like not just like spicy, it's like peppery. I just like it because it adds a little bit of extra. A little extra something. I don't know if you can really tell, but it's got like, it's like slightly, got a little bit of like a sparkle effect to it. I don't know. But getting to the Dom space question and being scared of that, good news is that for most people that are tops or doms, what they experience as their equivalent of top space, dom space, whatever you want to call it, is not anywhere close to what subspace is. Like they're different mental states. Like subspace, because it's typically brought on by intense physical experiences, it's essentially going through a very intense adrenaline rush. And that usually doesn't happen from the top side of the equation. So usually what tops or doms end up experiencing, and I think I've talked about this in videos before, is they end up experiencing more what's called a flow state. And a flow state is not nearly like, I feel like I'm completely disconnected from reality and I'm like floating through time and blah, blah. Like it's like being really actively present in the moment and really focusing in on one activity to the exclusion of everything else. And it's I would say it's a lot more like calm, comfortable, confident state compared to subspace, which can be kind of like chaotic and really intense. Of course, if anyone wants to share their experiences of dom space or top space, I'd really appreciate that because that's not really something that I experience. But from the people I know that do go into those headspaces, it's much calmer and more focused and actually getting into it. Like, I wouldn't say you shouldn't be scared of it, but they're not the same thing. Yes, so the plumper works. This actually it's also very gingery too. So it's usually some combination of like cinnamon, capsaicin, ginger, something like that, some kind of extracts, and it causes a plumping effect. Yeah. Close in the front with a padlock and hang the end of the chain down at about 16-18 inches. Attach a pair of cufflinks to the chain at the back. Hide the cufflink key in your shoe. Well, I don't have like half of those things, so it's not something I can currently achieve, but I appreciate the recommendation. Yes. I've definitely seen stuff that's branded as like bee venom in the name. I don't know if it actually is though. Maybe the really, really expensive like European stuff is, but I've never seen it like for sale at, a random place. These ones are all like plant-based for the most part. Yes, that's totally it. You just focus on the current activity. Oh, flogging in the right spot. That's good. Sub seems relaxed. Flogging is fun. Squirrel. No, not squirrel. Flogging in the right spot. Yeah, it's like you can research what flow states are. Like, there's actually like a fair amount of research in it because it's something that like people that are doing like highly enjoyable work or a pleasant task will get into. It's not just for BDSM. And any altered state of mind can potentially make somebody feel anxious because it is an altered state of mind, but it's far less chaotic and intense than subspaces. Interesting, reminds me, I think sub/dom space might be our subconscious detecting our internal sense of status and responding to it. And it's possible. I mean, we don't really have any good studies on just subspace or dom space or top space to know for sure, but it would be interesting if one day we got to figure that out more closely. I'm fairly new to this, but after impact play, I usually feel calmer too. Oh, that's a good point too. Yeah, like after you've done an activity successfully, you feel a lot calmer. All right, now we're going to move on to the next step, which I'm going to put that color on my cheeks. Did I have the red in here? Am I going to have to get up and because I was on a trip recently, I have makeup in a bunch of different unusual spots. And also because I'm cleaning things out because I have to throw stuff away because of my eye infection. It's kind of chaotic in a way that I don't normally like my things to be. Okay, so spicy lips are applied. These are spicy. They are spicy. I wouldn't say it's the best plumper ever, but if you want something spicy, because that's a role play thing you want to do for some reason, I would recommend it for that reason if you want to make your partner taste something spicy. I'm going to get my cheek stuff, and then we're going to move on to the next step. And that should be everything. I shouldn't need to grab anything else. Knock on wood. Alrighty, I'm actually going to do a little bit of contour too. I really need to buy new contour. This is Intuition from Rituel de Phil. I've been using this as a contour shade for 5-6 years at this point. And, well, it's good. And it works. So there you go. This is like a little bit lighter than what I would do for a video, but it's the same product. I think I have worn this in a video once or twice because it's enough coverage. And because it's a stain, I don't worry about it like fading over time during the video, you know? That's the problem with lip gloss. You put it on and then your hair gets everywhere. Burp, 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 burp. Good. All right. And then other cheek product. This is the Ladybug Color Nectar Balm, also Rituel de Phil. It's this really nice, dark. It's a little creamier, like glossier, I guess. A little glossier. And I'm going to do a little bit of a different placement than I have been doing. I want to mix it up a little. And I just want to do like here. Normally I'd bring it down a lot farther. I don't really know if you can like see that very much. And I'm just kind of going like right here. See if that works. Ta-da! There we go. Whoop. Oh yeah, I did read about the space with the SpaceX explosion that happened. Yeah. Shocker, surprising. No one could see that coming. No one could see that coming at all. Alrighty, I'm gonna try to get to another question here. Time flies when you're having fun, that's for sure. I don't know of any dungeons in the Chicagoland area. I would love to know why people call it the Chicagoland area. Chicagoland. Imagine if we called it Seattle Land. Portland Land. That'd be funny. No, I don't, unfortunately. I'm not from the Midwest. I haven't been. I've been to a hotel convention in Chicago, but I've not actually been to any of the dungeons out there. I'd love to visit sometime and try it. Depending on the time of year, I've heard it's nice. There's a lot of Midwestern kinky people. I think I know more people from the Midwest who are kinky than like people from the Northeast or like the South. Predicting from the younger Gen Z, bringing back late 80s, early 90s styles and mashing them up with late 90s and Y2K styles. I'm going to guess it's going to be a Gen Alpha Beta cusper who brings back foundation lips. Foundation lips are when you literally put foundation over your lips, so that way it's oftentimes paired with a really dark, smoky eye. So you have basically just like nude colored lips. Like as close to your skin tone as possible, like either directly from putting your foundation over your lips or using a very, very, very pale lipstick shade to replicate that effect. Usually a matte liquid lipstick. Been matte everything, to be honest. We just only believed in using matte products at that point in time. We hadn't invented sparkle yet. I feel like I missed a question here. Oh, what are some things I need to know about sissy training before I get started? I just met a sissy dude, and it sounds kind of fun, but I didn't get exactly what sissy training even is. I mean, it can be whatever you want, is the honest question. I mean, I can take a guess at what they probably mean by that. You'd have to ask them, but usually, I feel like sissy training usually involves, I'd imagine, some kind of like chastity play, orgasm control, making somebody wear like feminine undergarments or feminine clothing, making them wear makeup, humiliation play that involves either maybe like small penis humiliation or something along those lines, I would guess. Maybe hypnosis, maybe something like that, depending on how intense they want to go with it. Yes, it is sort of zombie-like, the foundation lip look. I really like the current mashup of things going on. As far as what you need to know, especially because this is a new person in general, I would probably say what you need to know is like what they want to do. Like rather than just sort of making general assessments on like, oh, this is the kind of thing this sort of training involves. Like ask them what they want, like what activities they want, what outcomes they want to see, what goals they have, and calibrate based off of that, I would say, more so than, you know, the expectations of strangers. Okay, I'm going to do some really light eye stuff, I think. Nothing too intense here. All right, Actually, I think I am going to do some eyeliner. Because I have a safe eyeliner that I can use still. Hopefully. Somewhere in this conglomeration of things. I have a necklace in here, I guess. I don't know what I was thinking. Oh, is that it? No. Is that it? Okay, thank God. I was worried I left it somewhere. All right, I have that, and then I need my... I promise it's not normally this chaotic. I actually have a very organized makeup drawer. All right, I'm gonna look and see here. Put on makeup. And I can get, especially for sissification, there's a lot of feelings about, you know, is this misogynistic? Is this just about like hating women and thinking women are inferior? I have some really good interview episodes with Carly DeVille where we talk about sissification and that kind of play. And if you haven't seen those yet, I recommend checking them out because they're really good insight into the motivations behind that and how to do that in a more ethical way. And I would say if the person's, you know, sort of interrogated their interest into why they want to do this and where that's coming from, like it doesn't necessarily have to be something that's because, you know, oh, well, being a woman is lesser or whatever. I'm just doing a really, really light, like a shimmer. This is from Give Me Glow Cosmetics. It's like kind of a very, very pale, like champagne color. I don't know what it's called. But it's from Give Me Glow Cosmetics because all of my eyeshadows are from there, more or less. Ta-da! Okay. I don't want this to be super intense. Oh, you can see, yeah, you can see my computer screen. Okay. All right, I feel like I just want it to be very, very subtle. Okay. Now we're going to do some eyeliner. This is the Dior Show Stylo. And this is my favorite my favorite eyeliner that I've tried. It's a pencil eyeliner. Oops, accidental ASMR with the makeup bags. Yeah, I guess it's sort of the rustling sounds, yeah. I don't know why, but hearing you say small penis humiliation and so nonchalantly sent me laughing. It is kind of, when you think of it, it is funny. But for me, it's just, I don't know, it's my small penis humiliation. You know, why not? You know, that's just, it's a thing that people do. It's in the category of activities that humans are capable of doing. All right, eyeliner. How we... Is this guy? Oh, I can just move my chair to be closer. That's an option. Yeah, I think rose gold has taken over versus champagne. I think that's the dominant third color option, if there is one. Right, I'm going to do waterline under my eyes. Alrighty, and then I'm gonna do a little bit here. Oh, thank you, Sean. Sean gifted 5 memberships. Thank you. All right, now I'm going to smudge it out a little bit here. I feel like that looks all right. That looks passable. Is it even? Pretty much. Okay, that's all I really need. Ta-da! Okay. Then last step, we're gonna do mascara. Am I gonna do anything with my eyebrows? I guess I can just make sure I don't have foundation on them. And there we go. Any wardrobe advice for someone who mostly wears athletic wear or graphic tees, but wants to go to the first kink event? Oh gosh. Oh, I don't know. Are you trying to dress masculine or feminine? Or androgynous? Because all black is a good way to start. Depending on where you live, there's definitely going to be different standards. Like where I live and most of the scenes that I go to, like at, graphic t-shirts and, all that is like fairly standard to see at parties. But you can pretty much never go wrong with all black, even if it's like, I would say like more mask, like a really nice leather belt, leather boots, leather jacket, black cargo pants, and then some kind of like fitted top, or black jeans, some kind of like pattern to like a pattern long sleeve shirt, or like a long sleeve shirt that looks nice on you. Like a buffalo check or a plaid or something. All right, I'm gonna put on some mascara here. Masculine, androgynous. Okay. Yeah, I would say, as somebody who wears pretty much all black clothing all the time, I know that masculine clothing can be somewhat harder to find in that category. So it's going to be kind of depending on what your own personal style is. A lot of people like I was saying, black cargo pants, kilts. I recommend finding some kind of like a color you like if you're more of a color person. Like a lot of people do black and green or black and red or, you know, black and purple even if you want to be like, real zany about it. Fishnet, mesh, think about textures to go with the black to kind of give you some level of depth and differentiation is always a good idea. But honestly, if you just wear nice black leather boots with like pants that fit you well, like black pants that fit you well, and like a black t-shirt or like a black turtleneck, like you're gonna be like head and shoulders above most people at a dungeon. You can definitely get into wearing a suit if you want to be like super fancy. There are people who wear like dress pants and you know, a nice button-up shirt with their kink wear. I wouldn't say it's super common, but it does happen. I feel like more punk alternative clothing is usually the direction that people go in. Ta-da! There we go. We're done. We did it. Well, zany for mask folk. I love black and purple personally. It's like probably my favorite color combo next to black and lime green. But I feel like masculine clothing in black and purple is not as common. I don't know. I don't like. I feel like masculine clothing in general is just so limited. You either have to be really into fashion to be able to get into it, or you know, you need to be like into some kind of alternative clothing. But even athletic wear, I've seen people do like nicely. Black and silver, always go in black and gold. White long sleeve Puma shirt, slightly baggy jeans. Exactly. I would say black long sleeve shirt, black pants. For masculine, you always go with a suit. Black and purple suits are freaking amazing. Yeah, suits are definitely a thing. Suits are more of an investment, and like, you know, maybe have to get it tailored and find one that looks nice on you. Like a poorly fitting suit, I feel like is worse than athletic wear. Like a nice suit is really good. Like a nice, like wide lapel, like open jacket, more of like a not like a formal. I would not go for like formal suit wear. I would do like a nice textured sports coat, wide lapel, keep it open, shirt underneath, nice, not like a graphic t-shirt, nice button-up shirt underneath, keep the collar open, no tie, coordinating pair of pants, nice black shoes or black boots, leather belt. You're good, you're golden. But finding stuff in that combination that you like, that's a color you like, that fits you well, that can be a tall order, and also have to decide between like, okay, like, do I want a wide lapel or a narrow lapel? Like, what kind of style of suit am I going for? Like, there's a lot of questions in there that most people have no experience knowing how to deal with. Not the Travolta suit. Yeah, don't do the Travolta suit. Definitely get it tailored. I cannot describe how much a difference it makes. Yes. Like, as long as it fits in the shoulders. Make sure a jacket fits in the shoulders. And, you know, length also, too, probably. Well, if it's too long, it's doable. If it's too short, you know, don't make sure it's long enough and the shoulders fit. Those are the two things. For feminine, black knit midi dress and black boots or wedges. Oh, wedges. Bringing back speaking of the foundation lips era. Definitely, I would say easy femme look is like lingerie underneath, black dress over top, black tights, and then boots. That's like easy to do. Maybe a little jacket if it's cold outside. That's really easy, super simple. Like a lot of people are going to be wearing a look like that. I have seen that there are people who are doing masculine corsets now. That again, more investment. You got to get it fitted properly. Corsets, you're not modifying those. Once they're off the rack, you have to make sure you get one that like is to your proportions. And that also is something that, not a lot of people know what to do, how to measure those things properly. If they have a short torso, a long torso, it can change things. Like I have a very short torso, so I can't wear, like there's like 2 brands I can buy corsets from because they make short length corsets. Like a regular full length corset like goes like past my pubic bone. Like they're way too long. Way too long. Not a fan of tights, LOL. We were nothing on the legs. It depends on where you live. I would say it's more of a weather thing than like if it's odd or not. Like most people, like for a lingerie look, most people wear like hold ups or stockings to complete the outfit. But if it's warm where you live and the dungeon that you're going to is warm, you definitely don't have to have anything on the legs if you don't want that. The local alterations place actually laughed me out of the shop when I asked for a quote to lengthen my sleeves. I don't get it. Maybe they saw the wheelchair and assumed I had no money, but oh gosh, I'm really sorry. I mean, I know like lengthening stuff or widening stuff is you have to have the, I've never had sleeve length. I've never had a sleeve lengthened before. So I don't know if that's like a doable alteration or not, but I'm assuming it's a thing that can be done because there's usually like some kind of extra material like folded over. But yeah, getting laughed out of an alteration shop. Oh God, I'm very sorry. I went to a furry convention a few weeks ago and there were so many people wearing skirts and fishnet tights that I imagine only get worn at the con. Oh yeah, there's a lot of people I'm like, oh, fishnets are not part of your daily wear. Not in the slightest. I've seen vests look good on guys, but this is something that guys should be cautious with. Anything that involves formal wear, and by formal wear I mean any kind of suit, because for most people a suit of any kind is formal wear. You have to be cautious because it has to be fitted really well, and it can either make you look fantastic, and it can be super flattering, or it can make you look like way bigger, way wider, in all the wrong places, or like make you look like a fucking cake pop. Okay, do not look like a cake pop. Look at Elon Musk. Google photos of Elon Musk. Do not try to obtain that silhouette. All right, we do not want cake pop where it's narrow, 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 round. Okay, we want wide taper, wide triangle. And then like a firm like tree trunk underneath the triangle, all right? Not cake pop, firm triangle. Firm triangle on top of a firm tree trunk. I don't know if that makes sense. Maybe that's helpful, I don't know. Just only a vest. not only just a vest and nothing else, no. Oh, Boris Johnson, also king of the cake pop look, for sure. Absolutely. I just love the way I feel in a nicely tailored suit. Normal to Dom in 0 seconds. Exactly, yeah. But it's a time and investment and everything to get a really good suit. But luckily there's good advice. Like I feel like finding, because suits are so regimented, like you can go and Google like exactly how to style a suit, exactly what to look for in a suit. And it's pretty universal. Because, like, what looks flattering in a suit is true for most body types. Whereas I feel like with formal dresses for women, like, there's so many different cuts and styles, and it, like, your proportions, like, are just so different, right? What looks good on me looks, compared to somebody who's, like, I thought of Trisha Paytas as, like, the exact opposite body type of me. So, like, if you're a Trisha Paytas, right? Like, what looks good on you in a dress is totally different than me, whereas a suit, kind of the same rules more or less apply. And some people can get away with wearing different suit types. Like, if you are super skinny and athletic, you can probably wear, like, different lapel widths or, like more form-fitting clothing. It doesn't necessarily look better, but, like, it doesn't look as awful as somebody that has different proportions. Anyways, that's my uninformed suit opinions. There are things you can do to like accentuate different features and different eras of tailoring, flatter different body types better. But a well-fitted suit will make you look better, basically no matter what your proportions are, no matter how tall or short you are, no matter how athletic you are, doesn't matter. And on that note, it's time for me to get going, y'all. It is 6:30. Yes, make sure you feel confident in it. You don't want to feel weird in your choice. Yes, that is very true. No matter what you're wearing, and I should be sure to say that, wear what makes you feel good. right? I feel really good wearing this. I'm wearing this outfit because I feel good in it. It fits my style. It feels true to me. If I had to wear like a pink frilly dress, I'd be like, this is not me. Don't make me wear this. So wherever it feels good to you, if that is high fashion or not, if that is a kilt or not, or cargo pants, or a fishnet shirt, or whatever, doesn't matter. Feel good in what you wear, and like take some time. Go to a mall. Go thrifting, honestly. Go thrifting, find some stuff, find something that feels good, all right? It could be a fucking Hawaiian shirt, okay? If you want to be grill dad wearing tan cargo jorts and a unbuttoned Hawaiian shirt with a white undershirt underneath it and like a chain and like flip-flops or something, go for it, okay? If that is you, if that's like, I get into my daddy headspace, this is Dom mode, when I put on the Hawaiian shirt, wear the Hawaiian shirt, okay? Live your life. Happy International Women's Day. And good luck to all of the people out there trying to find clothing that makes them feel good and happy. I know. The money cannot buy taste. Elon Musk and Boris Johnson are examples of that. Money and status cannot buy you taste, and a tailor will put you in whatever you say you want, even if it looks like garbage. But yes, see you all later. Have a great night. Stay safe out there. Drink some water, and I'll talk to you all